I have done it. I have made a helicopter and build a boat for treasure. Shouldn't be. If you look at all the parts, you would realise that normally this isn't possible. But I've made it possible using what I like to call a little bit of trickery and invisible blocks. Because this isn't actually a working helicopter. It's merely the illusion of a working helicopter. I'm just gonna try get back to my build plate, and then I'm gonna show you the illusion of helicopter. And I have actually genuinely had people think that this really works and isn't just an illusion, and think that we can go to like anywhere in the world, but really, once I turn all the parts non-invisible, deselect the window shield, you will just see that it's basically an underground boat with an above ground platform and a bunch of pistons. So, let's unanchor this. You see that the base there with a lot of weight goes underneath the ground, and the reason that we have it go under the ground is to stop it from swinging when the helicopter's really high up. Then we have the main platform with a bunch of pistons attached, and then the helicopter decorative piece on top of it, just like so you can just use the pistons to go up and down, and however many pistons you place dictates how high up or low down you go, which for my case is quite high up. So, how do you build this thing, you may be asking? Well, it's really rather simple. So I'm just going to get the existing model out of the way. I'm going to cut, so if I make any mistakes I can easily replace that section. Right, so really short list, shortest on the channel so far. Lots and lots of blocks, some boat motors, a chair, although if you're on mobile and you don't want to use a lever to control the pistons, you will need 2 chairs. A lot of pistons, and you need to reach into your bin of lots of tools and pull out the screwdriver tool for selecting parts and like their transparency, so you can make some stuff invisible or have no collisions. And then you also would want a scale tool, because there's lots of large platforms and placing all the individual blocks will drive you crazy. I did place a bunch of individual blocks once for a claw machine, which ended up not working anymore, and it kind of drove me crazy. Right, so to build this helicopter, first of all you want to start out with the underground bits. So you just want to pick a block. In my case it's going to be this titanium block. You're going to set it to be as thin as you possibly can make it, and relatively large, just like as large as you want to make it. And then you turn off collisions, and then you will do the same with the pole that we're about to make. So place this block, and then I like to do this bit in regular intervals. You scale up as far up as you want, you turn collisions off on the pole, and then this final block here will be your actual block with collisions. So if you want to help remember which blocks do and don't have collisions, you can just paint the blocks. Although I didn't list the paint tool, so it's not actually necessary, it's just a nice utility. So this next block is going to be smaller, but it's still just as, if not even more important, because it houses the main helicopter itself. So I'm just making a nice platform here. So this part has collisions and it houses the helicopter. You probably want to build it bigger than this, but this is just how big that I've gone. But first, before we build the helicopter, we've forgotten one thing, and that is the massive pillar of boat motors, which will connect to my seats that I've placed over there and accidentally painted. So I'm just going to repaint that seat and then have my favourite thing to do in all of these tutorials, a temporary lever that we are going to delete later. So you want to stack up as many boat motors as you have. The more the better, because they're weaker. They're sort of weak, as we've found out from testing ages ago. Right, so now you have your stack of boat motors. You want to get up onto your collision platform to build the next bit, which is like your helicopter and stuff. So there's multiple ways of getting up, pillaring up, making ladders, but the easiest one is to get a jetpack, which is obscured by my sloth, and jump your way up to the top platform. So once you get onto the top platform, just pick anywhere on the sides, it doesn't really matter where. Just create a piston stack as tall as you want it to go. So I'm just gonna actually also make sure to place a temporary lever up here as well, since mine didn't work. So temporary lever, which we're gonna delete later, and then however many pistons you want. I've lost where the pistons are. There we go. So then you pillar up as many pistons as you want or can. So now you have a whole bunch of pistons. You want to create a point to anchor the top of your craft to this piston stack. So in my case, I just take whatever block I can and build a nice pole across the top. So you can do some fancy spinning rotor with wheels if you want, but I'm not going to for the tutorial, just for the sakes of time efficiency. So the next stage is actually to build the helicopter itself, which you can either take ages and build a nice shell of it, like a nice helicopter and stuff, or you can do the lazy approach and just build whatever you want that just attaches to the pole and has seats. So because I'm making the tutorial and I don't want to have to rebuild my helicopter body, I'm just making this platform. But you could really easily build some sides and a rotor with an old wheel that rotates. And then once you've built your helicopter cab, which I'm currently too lazy to do, you want to remove your temporary levers. Looks like I removed the one at the bottom and I forgot about it. And then you place your driver's seat, which will connect up hopefully to all the levers and all the boat motors. Ensure that you've got all the collision settings and all the parts correct. And then probably, I don't think you'll need to, but maybe it could be helpful if you disable collisions on the pistons. So I'm going to set my pistons to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because then that sets them all to the length of 10.3 if you click off of it. And then I'm going to uncollide all the pistons, so now all of my pistons can extend really far and don't have collisions. Right, so now is time for testing, so I'm going to save it to my save slot named tests, because I don't have any other save slots for tutorials right now. You then highlight the entire thing and unanchor, and it should fall through the floor, but it appears I missed the collisions on the boat motors. Right, so we disable collisions on those. It should sit above ground level like that, with a lot of mass underneath the floor. So let me reload that and redo all the collisions so that it doesn't turn out to be such a catastrophe. And then you, leg spike, right. You hop into your seat, and by default, going up's going to make all the pistons push out. But you just want to check that all your steering and other stuff is working, right? And then you reload your save. So now, here comes the optional bit. Well, yeah, sort of optional. You basically head up to your seat and then click all of the pistons. I'm just going to time-lapse this in the edit. Right, and then you want to unhook them and then do the exact same thing again, because the silly connection tool doesn't have a selection box. So once again, another time lapse. Right, so now you connect it and you set your pull to a key. I'm going to set it to Q. And you set your push to another key, for example, E. So now whenever I, on my keyboard, hit Q and E, it will raise and lower their, well, sort of helicopter. This doesn't really look like a helicopter. So, once we've done that, you will want to make invisible all of the parts that pretend like it's not a helicopter, like so. So you make them all invisible, which just leaves your helicopter visible. You save it again, and then you test it by unanchoring and check that everything works. So it should all slide across the ground nicely, and you should be able to raise and lower it however you want. So that should be a nice simple illusion of helicopter in Build Boat for Treasure. Now, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss more videos, because I do not have a set schedule. I try to upload monthly, but that does not work out ever. And also, if you check my community tab, I did recently make a Discord server if you want to join and just test things out. It's a better place than YouTube comments to post problems with my video, like that you have following my videos, because in Discord you can actually send images, whereas in YouTube comments it's just text. But other than that, thank you for watching my helicopter illusion, which I'm just going to probably title it as like helicopter, because it's a better title to say helicopter as opposed to the illusion of a helicopter. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you whenever I get bothered to record another video. Okay, goodbye.